You're tuning in to the Black Hollywood Live Network, featuring news, interviews, and commentary on all things Black Hollywood. Hollywood redefined. From Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is Black Hollywood Live. Stand up, sit down, featuring in-depth discussion and interviews with stand-up comedians on the art of stand-up comedy. Black Hollywood Live. Hollywood redefined.
You're listening to Black Hollywood Live.
And now, the host for Black Hollywood Live, stand up, sit down.
Hey guys, welcome back to another exciting episode of Stand Up, Sit Down. I'm your host, Nick Perdue, and in the studio, I have this hilarious comedian, actor, all-around funny guy.
Half Jewish, man.
Half Jewish.
Half Jewish from my father, not
Mr.
from
Adam Carr.
Not from my mother. Yes, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me. It's a glorious Friday, and I'm just sweating with anticipation sitting in this chair. And I've never said that before, and I might never again.
Well, like, think of it as like a job interview. Like, you really kind of think of it that way. I suck at those.
I'm terrible. Whenever I fill out questionnaires, I literally, one time I was so broke, I was at a nice upscale restaurant, and it was one of those questionnaires like, when people are mad, you typically, like, A, want to get even, B, let it go, or C, report it to your manager. And I just wrote, like, A, get even. I'm like, fuck them, I don't care. And then I didn't get the job, and I was like, well, I just answered everything honestly. And I'm like, oh, you can't be honest.
You're supposed to report it to your manager.
Is that what you do?
I mean, that's what you're supposed to do.
I thought you let it go.
Well, either you, I guess, depending on what it is, like, you know.
Yeah, I studied acting in school, so I'm not really built, I think, for the actual real business world. I think to me,
You would make a great waiter, though.
I'm not. I'll come up if there's a job where you can just come up and talk to people and somehow get paid, and they give you a drink at the same time. I would do that job. I would be like a good time guy. That would be me. Yeah.
Or maybe like the Chuck E. Cheese rat. You know,
exactly.
Like you could be that guy.
Well, I like to stay away from any rodents, but sure, whatever. You went right there with the actual rat, but it's fine. I mean, something more cuddly, like a bear or something.
I mean, depending on what neighborhood you're in, rats can be cuddly.
You know what? I think pretty much anywhere you are, they're just dirty, disgusting, and they spread disease. I mean, God bless them for being able to sustain, such long lives. That's why we have, like rat poison. It takes a lot to kill those bastards, but sure. If you want to say resilient, strong, low to the floor, I am a tad hobbit size, but whatever works.
Well, where are you from, Adam? Where do you originate from?
I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio.
There you go.
Exactly.
Cleveland rocks, huh?
I know. The sports teams never win, but boy, are we important during an election.
Right.
That's what I was. Ohio is so important. Every 4 years, we get reminded why we're amazing. No, it's funny that you mentioned with the Rock Hall, because people always go, oh, Cleveland, and oh, at least you got the Rock Hall. And you have to kind of remind people, yeah, but the induction ceremony is in New York. So that's kind of it's like, we want you to be there, but we don't really want to bring pretty people there.
Well, we don't know who's really going to Cleveland.
I mean, it's like you introduce someone with the A squad, and then, the B squad takes them out. You're just like, you can go over in Cleveland, you'll be fine. But
what high school did you go to in Cleveland?
Solon High School. Let me see. Yeah, it's like just a little suburb outside of Cleveland, and Solon's just an amazing. What a great public school system. I'm not running for office or anything like that, but it was a great town, great place to grow up.
Gotcha. Yeah, because my mother's from Cleveland, so I have a family out there. So she grew up in Cleveland Heights, and so she went to Glenville High.
No way.
Along with Steve Harvey.
There you go. My dad grew up in Heights.
Okay.
There's an amphitheater called Kane Park.
Okay.
That's right near there. It's near like Coventry and all there, but it's kind of like a really small, scaled down version of Hollywood Bowl. And every year, my dad and his group, the Doo-Wops, they perform, usually sometime in August, and they sell out. It's like, 1,500 seats that they get it. And it's, I just love it because that's how my parents met originally. So it's always fun to go back. Love Cleveland.
Yeah, no, it's nice during like the fall and summer months. Like it's a nice place. I'm not a fan of snow.
Really? I'm gonna have to say I like the snow there because I get to choose when I leave it, and so that's why it's nice. The summers there have always been a little bit whorish to me because I don't do well in humidity. And those summers there are just whorish. not gonna lie, I'm just a pasty white boy, and you see me get decimated in the summer. It's not pretty. I have a body built for reading. I can't really sustain. I usually have to take a lot of supplements with sodium. Try to keep up.
But also in high school, were you like a funny kid?
I think I was. I think that was like my niche. And I think the best example of that is I did a lot of the musicals in school. And one day there was this kid, it's like sophomore year, junior year, and we were like in social studies or something, and he leaned over and he was like, "Hey, I saw you in the musical this last weekend." I think we were doing Bye Bye Birdie at the time or something like that, and I had like the lead role, like Albert Peterson, and he said, "Yeah, you were really good, man, and it made sense finally." And I was like, "What made sense?" He's like, "Well, I hear you answer questions in class, and I know your grades aren't exactly the best, and I was always thinking in the back of my head, what's this kid going to do for the rest of his life? And then I saw you perform, and I was like, oh, yeah, I guess you're just kind of a funny guy. That's what you do." And I'm like, I appreciate the 45% compliment there, and I'll take it with me, and I'll remember that for life, so thank you.
Oh, there you
So
go.
that was when
It's a great backhanded compliment. Right?
it was really great. I was like, why don't you add that I'm short and I'm gonna be a virgin until I'm 23? Why don't you throw that in there too? Just see what happens.
So what inspired you to pursue stand-up comedy?
It's one of those things where people always say, hey, I think you're kind of a smartass. You seem to have a good insight with stuff. Maybe you should check out stand-up. And I always kind of shied away from it. Shied away, I think, just because I was kind of chicken shit about it. To me, it always just seemed kind of terrifying. And
It is.
I grew up watching a lot of, George Carlin, Billy Crystal, Robin Williams, just these guys who were so masterful with corralling a crowd any which way they went. And I was always like, well, I think I can be a smartass, but I don't necessarily think that I'm could attain something like that, But I basically just got into it because of UCB. I was doing a showcase there it was like 101, and the number one rule of improv is you're not supposed to say no. And we were doing these monologues, and we were doing scenes, monologue, and I go up to do my monologue, and we had been talking about cats for like 25 minutes, which our instructor was like, always change up the subject, always, keep it going, keep it fresh. And my brain was toasted, and I just stood up there alone, and I was like, so the last time I saw a cat, and one of my scene partners on the back wall goes, "No!" And I'm like, what the fuck? And now I'm kind of like sweating, and I'm like, this isn't funny. That's cruel. Who the fuck said no? And people kind of start laughing, and like the scene partner was like, change the subject. We've already done cats. And so everyone kind of laughs. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, not really feeling the support here from my team. I'm like, no, fuck the cats, fine. No. And she's like, no, dude. I'm like, no, fine. And I just kind of started going into this bit and had people going, and I was like went into the next thing, and I kind of had this epiphany. I was like, improv's amazing because you have to, rely with your life on your scene partner. But stand up, you just have to rely on yourself. And so that also seemed really appealing to me. And I was like, man, I can just kind of do what I want and take it whatever speed I want. And there's something pretty cool about that too. So I think that's how that kind of came about.
Yeah, I guess it's like when you get the laughs, like they're all your laughs.
Oh, there's nothing better. There's nothing there. I don't think there's a woman hot enough on the planet to equal seeing naked. Juxtapose that with someone laughing at something that you thought of.
Unless she's laughing.
It's really hard. Yes. Unless there's three of her and she's laughing at the same time.
And they're all laughing.
And
like,
it's just a room of naked, beautiful women. You know what? If that happens, I will say that's better than a laugh.
That's kind of intimidating, though. If you think about it, if you were to perform in front of naked, beautiful women and be funny.
Really? You know
I
what?
think that's a little
Actually,
intimidating.
the hotter they are, the better. Just because the way I grew up, if I didn't have like my wit going with me, I was never like physically imposing or, like dashingly good looking to anyone. So to me, it's like the hotter you are, almost the better, because I go out of my way to kind of put you down a little bit. And then I kind of thrive off that reverse psychology. I kind of sound like a sociopath, but yeah, I'm realizing now what I'm
Put
saying.
them into place. Right?
I put them into place. I show them I'm not afraid, and then I go home and cry by myself and just get some ice cream.
Supposed to get the numbers, like that's the whole.
No, I'm a great opener, just a horrible closer. Horrible closer. I have no qualms about admitting that. Just really need to step up my game eventually. I'll worry about that in my 30s. That's fine.
Yeah, and then because headliners close.
Exactly. Yes.
So
yeah.
you gotta work on.
I know.
closing
Listen, you can't cross the Sahara in a day. You got to take it day by day, and you got to just do what you got to do.
That's true. So now your first time on stage, like your first time, like literally doing a straight stand-up show.
Sure.
What was that like?
It was awesome. It was very supportive. I had a bunch of friends come out. I had a friend, Caroline Harrison, so sweet. She vouched for me at the Comedy Store and said I had been doing stand-up for a while, which was an absolute lie. Which is a great lesson, as in any relationship. Lie. Always lie. Never trust anyone with the truth. People can't handle it. So I got to go up, and the guy beforehand, he was like, okay, so how, what have you done before? And I was like, nothing, honestly, like nothing. He's like, what? He's like, well, don't tell people that. This is the Comedy Store. I'm like, no, I know, this is the Comedy Store. This is so cool. I'm like, I can't wait to go up. and he's like, all right. And then they actually did say, oh, give it up. It's his first time, blah, blah, blah. And then
awesome.
it was one of those, I just had fun and just kind of went with it. And just the adrenaline really carried me through. So it was just honestly, that was a great first time.
How long did you do?
God, I think it was like 7 or 8 minutes, something like that. So it was, it was, nice little beginning, kind of like where are we now type thing.
Well, and too, because I feel like when the host introduces you as this is your first time, like, the automatically kind of puts the audience in like, okay, like, we know he's not going to be hilarious.
Sure.
Which
is great.
Like,
that's like going to bed with a girl and being like, I'm okay at sex. And then she's kind of like, oh, and then like you're actually kind of good, which in my mind lasts longer than 2 minutes and focus. And then she's like, oh my God, that's great. That's even better. All of a sudden you sound and look amazing. You always want to kind of undersell it. The last thing you want to do, it's like promoting a movie, even though I don't think they'll ever do that, but just don't promote it.
Or just don't become famous, because that's where it becomes hard, because like, oh yeah, this is Chris Rock, and then Chris Rock comes on stage and bombs, terrible. And they're like, oh my gosh, you know what I mean? So it's
I know you kind of feel bad for those guys, but I don't really necessarily feel bad for millionaires. So at the same time, sure, it's hard
because he's still funny too. So.
Oh, he's hilarious. I think it's a tougher thing because people are sitting back going, okay, I know you're gonna make me laugh.
Yeah. Make me laugh.
But at the same time, it's like I saw Jerry Seinfeld once do a performance at the Saban Theater over in like Miracle Mile area. He had a solid 90-minute set with I think 1,000 people in the audience, and everyone was there to see him. Yeah. And it was like they wanted him to do well. They wanted to laugh at Jerry Seinfeld jokes. Yeah. They wanted to, well, have you ever? Yeah, like they wanted to be there. So that too, also, I think it goes with you as well.
Okay, so best show. What has been your best show so far?
Best show. I'd have to say I go up quite a bit now at the Comedy Store. I think right before the winter break. It was just I was trying out some new material, and everything just kind of seamlessly blended together. Took my time, and just. Yeah, when you feel like you hit each chapter of like the book that you're doing when you go up there, and you hit each punchline, and people are getting stuff, and at the same time you also feel free enough to just kind of joke and laugh with some people and maybe try some other things. But when it all just kind of moves and it's so effortless, you're not really even thinking anymore. And I think to me that's I've felt that for like a couple milliseconds. I'm nowhere near the actual. It's gonna take years and years. I'm gonna be 70 and still cracking this thing. So, but yeah, something like that right before the winter break.
Okay, yeah, because it's always nice, like when you're able to get into that groove. Oh yeah. And then when everything you say is just funny, like it just gets laughs.
And it's just kind of moving, and you're. It's so easy to get really insecure with a lot of this stuff, but then when you do say it and you hear the laugh and you go, "It is funny. I knew it was funny." No, like I sound like I'm doing a Jerry Seinfeld impression. I thought it was funny, but you go, "Oh my God, it is!" Like and sometimes, and then you have those other nights too. Then that's the only reason it feels great when people laugh, because you have all those times when people don't, and you just say stuff and like people are just kind of staring at you, and someone's like, "Ha." In the back, and you're like, oh, screw this. I'm gonna order a pizza now. I've had enough.
So what has been your worst show?
Honestly, I haven't really had anything go too bad.
Have you ever like not gotten any laughs at all?
Those typically happen at some open mics, but to me, those are a bit more. It's tougher because it's a bunch of guys and girls crowded in a room. Everyone's kind of looking in their notebooks, figuring out their set. No one's really paying attention, and so you're like, when you do get a laugh, obviously from an open mic, that's like 40,000 people in a regular stadium laughing at a show because it just doesn't happen. So I'm trying to think. The only thing that kind of freaks me out sometimes, I'm very OCD with time. If you tell me how much time I have, I have to block it down to the second. I don't like freeform going up there because I think I'm just a control freak and it freaks me out. And I'm just like, no, I'm going to be like halfway through one joke, but I have to like get to this other joke. And if I don't finish the other joke, like it's not going to make sense. And it's not going to be like this full thing that I bring around full, these are the voices in my head. So if I look at someone and I see them give me the light and I'm thinking in my head, I know what 7 minutes or 8 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes feels like, and that wasn't where you knocked it, then a part of me starts to get a little flustered, and then I tend to rush through whatever I'm doing, and then I just look at people and I go, this is terrible. I'm like, I'll buy everyone a drink. Come up to, all right, I'm done. All right, you know what? And then but I've never really hit that, honestly.
That's good.
That doesn't mean I won't.
Yeah, no, I mean they'll definitely come.
I'm performing tomorrow night. Now I'm probably spooked myself. It's gonna have it. It's gonna happen.
No, and you know what it is too? I feel like those are the shows that you really learn from, and because it's not even like, okay, like this joke doesn't work. Especially if you know that the joke works,
sure,
and then it doesn't hit, it's like, okay, first of all, what happened? Secondly, y'all are idiots.
So, yeah.
And then it's okay, how do I recover from this?
Right. No, I mean, I've seen some guys crash and burn, and I think the thing I learned right away in the first couple weeks was never scold an audience for not laughing at something. That's like the worst thing you can do. It's like literally if you're like, yeah, so anyway, because I'm from Ohio, and nothing happens, you go, all right, well, I mean, you were supposed to laugh there, but whatever. And then you kind of get this little bitter tone in your voice, and then people automatically disconnect and go, well, fuck you. I don't want to listen to you. Like, good luck now, because I'm not going to laugh at shit. So go for it, clown. Make me laugh. But, yeah, to me, I've seen some people... All right, there was one time, but this wasn't me. I should just say it was me, but it honestly wasn't. This guy got up. He had obviously had a few drinks, and he just crashed and burned. And he was kind of just going off, and he started making fun of this hot girl who was sitting like in the front row. Yeah. And I was like, well, bless her heart. She's sitting in the front row, and she's there to see this fucking show. And he just starts picking on her. He's like, you know what I hate? I hate it when girls show up to clubs like wearing fucking beanies. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry, what? And he just starts like arguing with her. And I'm like, clearly your wife left you this week. Or, you found her in bed with Marjulio, the pool boy. But I don't know what's going on, but you are taking a very personal turn right now on this poor hot girl. Yeah. I'd call her poor hot because she was smoking hot. But that to me, when it gets personal, it can be bad. But I'm a pretty positive person. It's hard. I've never really crashed and burned.
So, but now, have you talked about anyone in the audience, though? Like, have you really gone after somebody?
No, there was one guy who was definitely 5 to 6 drinks in. And the guy before me, he was heckling the shit out of him and kept shouting stuff and was like, come on, say something funny. Yeah. And this guy was a big guy. And as I said, I'm a very small person. So I try to use my words because I have to. And I get up on stage and the guy's like, come on, say something funny. And I literally just tried to think real fast. And I was like, you know what, sir? I'm like, I have a feeling putting you down is going to be like picking on a kid with Down syndrome. It's going to make me feel really bad at the end of the day, and I don't want to do it. And then everyone kind of started laughing at him, and I'm like, let's get this guy some whiskey sour mix, maybe just a lot of soda water. Sir, yeah, that's right. Lift up your glass. All right, you moron. I'm like, just have some water. Calm down. And literally just I just did that really fast with him, and he just shut up. And so it was fine. Thank God he didn't charge the stage. I don't know what I would have done. I don't know how real men get into fights.
You just kick him.
I literally would have run. Yeah.
Kick him.
No, that's what I tell all the tall guys. They try to, I'm like, look, all it's going to take, I'm like, you'll probably beat the crap out of me. But if I just get one shot into your kneecap, you will have a cane for the rest of your life. And you're going to remember me when you knock with that cane. This got violent. Let's go back to the questions. Fun, happy questions. Sorry.
No, I mean, because like, sometimes, especially at being a comedian, people automatically think, oh, you're not gonna. I'm just like, hey, dude,
Show the love.
this is like if I don't make you laugh, like I get that,
Sure.
like that joke wasn't for you.
Right.
You know what I mean? But you're gonna laugh at something.
It's tough. I remember one time there was a show. It was at the main room at the Comedy Store, and all the guys going up before me, they were making fun because there was like this big Tony Soprano guy in the front, and he obviously had this mail order Russian bride sitting with him. This girl she was beautiful, she was gorgeous, she looked vampire hot. Did not speak a word of English, and so the guys keep making jokes. And so the next guy that gets up, a big Tony Soprano guy is like, hey, no more fucking jokes about my girlfriend. And everyone's like, whoa, this guy, honey, I'm so sorry. Like, listen, you're gorgeous. Like, clearly, this guy's paying for it, but it's okay. Like, let's just, and then they literally walked out like after the next person. So, this is LA. If you're not gonna, you got to be willing to laugh at yourself and laugh at everything.
Yeah.
Everything's kind of absurd. Like, what's the point?
Everything's fake out here, so it's like
It's very fake.
it's all smoke and mirrors and plastic.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
That's true.
Really? Come on.
That's true.
Yeah.
So who is your inspiration? Who do you look at and is like, I want to be just like him, or I want a career like so and so?
God, you know what? A lot of those guys, Saturday Night Live, Steve Martin, Bill Murray, amazing guys who started so comically and then also have these very serious turns, and that can also be very dramatic as well. Billy Crystal, to me, just epitomized, like, he's just such a brilliant host, showman. When he hosted the Oscars, I believe it was maybe 5 or 6 times, 7 times, something like that.
Yeah.
It's something up there. Just so magical.
Yeah.
Just so. I think the great thing about him that a lot of people nowadays just aren't so great at, is whereas, like I use this example with like the Oscars with Seth MacFarlane, who I think is a genius and absolutely very talented. When Seth MacFarlane's making fun of you, it's kind of putting you down a little bit, and it's putting down kind of everybody around you a little bit. When Billy Crystal would make fun of you, he would make fun of you, but giving you a forward-handed compliment. Like, one of his jokes at the time, it was, 1990, so he was saying, Jack Nicholson having a great year. It's like, this year at the box office grossed over $500 billion, or what Jack Nicholson calls half a paycheck for the Batman movie he was in. Like something like that, where he's making fun of him, but he's also being nice and sweet about it, so no one wants to dodge. But honestly, it's I'm talking more hosting stuff now. Ricky Gervais, Louis C.K., the guys, George Carlin, who had just such a masterful way with words and was so wonderfully insightful of spinning everything. And of course, the energy of Robin Williams just, man. Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
That's fine.
So what is your style of stand-up? Observational? Talk about yourself?
Slightly observational, more talking about me. I think a lot of my comedy formed, a lot of my theme is failed love, just because I've, in my short time on this planet, I've taken out a homeless girl, I've dated a sex addict, I take out a lot of single moms. That's like my thing. I'm known as like the good time guy with a lot of those ladies. Single moms need love, and they just haven't been shown that love for a while. But I've definitely had my fair share of late. The homeless girl one was the scariest one of all. She was so hot, and she had a great rack, and it was supposed to be a tremendous evening. I ballparked myself at a 60% chance of blowjob, just for the evening. This is how guys think. And of course, at the end of the evening, I was thinking, oh my God, am I going to get out of here alive? And does she have like a knife in her purse and this bag of groceries, which is actually her possessions? So to me, I just kind of, it's all real. It's all real. So I guess, for me, I really just kind of took a lot from my life. And I think, I just had a ton of material, just took a lot of that pain and just wanted to put it out there and laugh about it. And that actually made it much easier to just kind of deal with and see. So I think a lot of me up there.
How do you ask out a homeless girl? Like I don't even like what's the?
I will give you the story.
Yeah,
real fast.
Yeah,
you tell me if you wouldn't do this. So I work at the Geffen Playhouse in Westwood, right? I've been bartender there for about 7 years. It's an amazing, wonderful theater. And I'm closing up for the night, and the show's already started. So a bunch of my friends are all at like the front desk, the concierge desk. So this girl comes up. She's wearing like a black cocktail dress, heels. She's got a jacket on, and she's carrying a purse and a bag. And she comes up and she asks if she can sit outside and read her book. So everyone says, fine. And she goes, can you turn on the heaters for me, please? And so automatically the girls are like, what a bitch. We hate her. We're not going to turn on. Nah. And so the girls are like, no, I'm sorry. Those are for the patrons. So I go out there and I'm just like, look, guys, I'm going to take care of this. I think I got this one. All the girls are like, come on, I want to talk first. I'm like, look, pulling rank. Captain's got this. So I go out and I go, hey, I'm the bartender here. Couldn't help notice you're sitting out here alone reading your book. And, maybe can I get you a drink? Maybe some wine? Or she's like, why don't you get one and join me? Right? So I'm like, giddy up. Something's happening. So I go get it. Sit down. So we start talking. I'm just like, it's a great place. Westwood. She's like, yeah, I go to school here, psychology, all this stuff. She's telling me things. There's some little loopholes in what she's saying, but I'm not really picking up on it yet. And I'm also not picking up on the fact that her coat that she's wearing is like a winter coat and it's about 80 degrees outside. I'm just thinking, oh, maybe she's just like a little chilly or something like that.
What did she smell like? Did she smell
She smelled
homeless?
fine. She looked pretty. She told me, she's in like the makeup business and stuff like that. She looks great. She has a great rack. I'm very forgiving at this point. I figure this is fine. Everything's great. So then we're talking. And I'm like, there's this place around the corner. Have you ever been to Palomino? That's where like a lot of our friends, we always go. And so she's like, no, I've never really been there. And I'm like, oh, we should go sometime. She's like, why don't we go tonight? And so I'm like, yeah, like this, it's happening. 55, 60% chance of blow J. I'm counting on something. Like, it's just, she's giving me the vibe. It's feeling good. I know enough when women don't give me the vibe to understand the anomaly when they do.
Yeah.
So we go to my, like, car, and she, like, wants me to drive, even though it's, like, 2 blocks. And then, like, we start talking throughout the evening, and I'm like, I should give you a call sometime. And she's like, I don't really do the phone thing. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of weird. And then,
Yeah.
She knows, like, where all the bathrooms are at Palomino's, even though she told me she'd never been there. And I was like, this girl knows her way around. And then finally, toward the end of the evening, she's like, she's had like a martini or something, and she leans in seductively, and she's like, you know what I like to do, and I drink. And now I'm thinking, oh my God, she's gonna say like, let's get down or something like that. It's gonna be amazing. But she didn't. She's like, what I like to do, and I drink. I like to dance. I could dance till 5 a.m. Let's go hit the clubs. And now I'm getting tired, and it's like midnight, and I'm realizing this girl's like a little psycho. She's talking about all these other things, and so I'm like, oh, it's great. I'm kind of tired. And then this is where I start freaking out because I'm like, hey, where can I drop you off? And she won't tell me. And I'm like, well, you were walking by the Geffen, so you have to live relatively close. There has to be a circumference here of like 2 miles. There's no way.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, where can I drop you off? And she's like, well, I don't really live anywhere. I couch surf, and sometimes really nice friends get me hotel rooms. And so I'm like, I'm not one of those friends. Where the fuck can I drop you off? And then finally, like, we're kind of like, she's getting weird in the car. And I'm like, where can I drop you off? And she's like, any Starbucks. Swear to God. So, and I'm just like sitting there at the steering wheel, just being like, okay. And I just pull up, and, it was, she has the garbage bag full of like markers and books and the Bible and like different shirts. And we're pulling up, and she's like, also, oh no, before that, she was like, drop me off at the 24-hour fitness off Western. And I was like, are you high off your ass? I'm not fucking driving to Western right now. I'm like, it's like 12 miles. And then I'm thinking, why would you go to the 24-hour fitness at like 1 in the morning? So I put it all together, like, she's wearing the jacket, she needs the clothes. Yeah, she showers at the gym. I drop her off at Starbucks. It's kind of somber, and I try to be really sweet because she was, I'm realizing now this, is someone who has some issues, and I'm like, well, maybe I'll see you next week if you're still hanging out at Ralph's. And I wish you the best. Stay warm. And I drove off.
Here's the only thing with that. I feel that women should never be homeless.
I mean, it doesn't make sense.
And because like the reason, especially if they're hot women, this is gonna sound super sexist, but I feel that because like the way guys are is that if there's like a hot woman who's like giving you play, right?
Sure.
And then if you feel that you may be able to smash that night, you're gonna bring her back to your house.
You say smash.
You know,
That's your verb?
I
Mine
mean,
is like
smash.
make a minor dent. That's my verbiage for it. This is Black Hollywood Live. I realize I'm very like I'm I'm just a little
we definitely
white boy.
tear shit up over here.
Right.
So
Smash, got it.
You know, like you should never like not have a bed or like a couch or something.
No, if that's happening, you've missed something, or you're just kind of batshit crazy. And I think that's when I realized she was just kind of just batshit.
Wow.
You can only help so many.
You're right. But now, does this turn you off to other homeless women?
Not necessarily. I just turned 28. I have 2 more years before I have to like start getting serious. Plus, to me, it's like just more material, which I know is such a sad thing, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
I'm
hey,
just
that's your niche.
I'm
you
the
know?
comedic Taylor Swift.
There you go.
I need to see it crash and burn, and then I deal with it, and then I share it, and then I move on.
So what is your joke writing process like?
I literally just try to think of, just what's something interesting or ironic that's happened to me in my life, or, what's an interesting take on something, and then try to get that across in the most succinct, economic way possible. Like I was just talking with you with a joke beforehand, which I'm trying to work on right now. Like I'm saying it to you in 5 to 6 sentences. I need to be able to say it within, 1 to 2 sentences and kind of just chop it up and get it down. So honestly, I think my joke writing process, I just go over my journal from the last year, and I go over every bad breakup and horrible thing, or my gurnal as I call it. And then I highlight it and I go, oh, this sounds great. It's typically what it is. It's just, I have a little book that I carry around with me. People go, is that your joke book? And I go, yeah, it's my joke book.
So like, do you write them out? Like, do you write them all the way out? Or
I typically, like what I'll do, like when I first did, when I was working on some jokes, I would literally just video myself saying it. And then just, because honestly, like, I grew up acting. Like I grew up always reciting lines and kind of having things in my head. So I think the process is getting it memorized, getting it down in my head, and then just kind of throwing it out and being willing to just move with it and make sure that it's organic and that it doesn't sound like a trained, robot.
That's always annoying.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's terrible. I just,
Yeah, because I want to say I was at the Comedy Store and there was this kid. It was maybe, I don't know, like 14, 13 or whatever. And you could tell she was like doing like a monologue.
Sure.
And
you have to listen to what's going on. That's the main thing. You can tell when, I hate to say it, it's like a relationship. If you're not listening to the other person, it's really easy for them to just get bored and just be like, you're kind of a selfish bastard. And people just tune out. No one's ever said that to you? I get that at least twice a week.
All the time. They're like, Nick, come on, man. Like I'm talking, like,
Look,
we'll get to you.
You're a very charming man, but not all of us have gotten there yet. We're still chucking peanuts over here. Nowhere close.
So with where stand-up is today, like, because, you have your Kevin Hart's and then, like your Louis C.K.'s, and I don't want to say like a fall from grace, but, a couple years ago, you had Dave Chappelle, who was, top of the comedic ranks, and like Dane Cook again, who was like, selling out, these guys selling out arenas and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's huge.
So, like, because you see how it kind of like fluctuates, like no one really kind of stays on top.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, how does that make you feel on kind of like where you want to be? It's like, do you eventually want to get to that point, or are you kind of like, cool, but you know what? Like, if I do theaters for the rest of my life, or if I do colleges and sell out clubs, like, I'm cool with that.
I've honestly never really thought of where I wanted it to go. I know right now I just like doing it, and it makes me happy. It's just a great outlet for creativity. I think it's important, I have a lot of conversations like this with my dad where you need to keep redefining what you think success is to yourself, because things will always kind of keep changing, and especially the older you get, sometimes your mind changes on what you want, what makes you happy from week to week. So I think putting something in the distance to be like, if when I get that, or if I'm hitting that always, then I'm going to be happy. To me, it's setting yourself up so that you're never really going to be happy, because you're always looking somewhere else instead of where you are kind of personally. After this, I'm going to tell a bunch of just raunchy jokes. This is getting very serious. Even for me, I'm like, geez, this is getting deep. But yeah, I think I don't know if I go to a club and people say, "Hey, do you want to get up there? We'd love to hear your stuff." Then I'd consider that a good thing.
Yeah.
I'd consider that success.
You could walk into any club.
If I could walk into any club,
Any night,
here's
too.
what my brother wants. My brother wants. My brother's a very popular, like, charismatic guy who, like, travels around. He literally, his dream is, like, no matter what city he goes to, eventually, he can always find a friend to either stay with or meet at a club or something. Like, that's his dream. Like, no matter where he goes, he could go to Budapest. He's gonna, like, have friends. And so, yes, my dream would be I could walk anywhere and people go, "Oh my God, hey, get up there. Let's hear some material." Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that's it. And if I don't achieve that, I'm going to be very unhappy. And that's my pedestal. If I don't reach it, God,
You start bumping all the new comics, like fucking
These
fucking
kids.
Adam's here.
I know,
like,
yeah,
I'm
look at all these.
Never gonna get up now.
Oh, you dated a homeless girl? Oh, Jesus. Oh, get over yourself, kid. Happens to the best of us. No, I have a long time before I turn 30. It's fine.
2 years, right? You said
Yeah,
you-
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
2 years ago. It's
So,
a long, it's a long
in
year.
Hollywood, that's like freaking 16.
Yeah.
That's like a whole other person who's able to drive again.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then but too, and because like the thing with comedy is that you can be old as shit and
You
still
can.
be on stage and tell jokes.
Yeah, you can.
You know,
If the heroin hasn't done its job, you'll be fine.
or just smoke cigars every day like George Burns. And then you
was
you'll
fine.
be up there. And yeah, he was 100, still on
People
stage,
still want- yeah.
doing his
Doing a shtick.
yeah.
It's very possible.
Yeah.
No,
So the only thing is that you really can't do any like greatest hits. You know what I mean? Because like people don't want to hear the old stuff. They want like new, fresh stuff.
I'd say that goes hand in hand. It goes hand in hand.
You think so?
No, you're probably right.
Because like you'll never have a greatest hits album with all your. I mean, maybe if you're like who was it? I think like Red Fox. He had like 70 like comedy albums, something like that. And so like I guess like he can have a greatest hits.
Yeah.
Especially because it's been so long now, and so now once you get to that point, like 20, 30 years later, then you have the greatest hits. Stuff that you haven't heard in a while. But like Taylor Swift technically doesn't have to make another album. Like she can go on tour and just tour with all of her old songs because people are still gonna love it.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
God bless her.
But being a comic, we need fresh
You
stuff.
need to keep moving.
Yeah,
Well, that's the thing too. I think it bores you. You don't want to keep doing the same stuff. You want to keep changing and learning. And like I love like that with Louis C.K. that he'll sign up for like a tour date, like a couple months in advance, whatever, without any material written.
Yeah.
Just to kind of leap out there without the net.
Yeah.
Talking about some balls.
What makes you laugh?
Truth. Anything truthful. Honestly, I always tell friends, you'll know when I'm telling you the truth because I smile and I start laughing and it looks like I'm lying. I get really awkward with the truth. It's terrible. I get, let's see. This is terrible. Death. Anytime you tell me someone's just died, I start laughing. It's the worst coping mechanism on the planet. You can literally just be like I remember, sounds terrible. This sounds terrible. I don't even know if I should, no, I probably shouldn't say it. It's too dark. Yeah, death. Death is a big thing for me.
Do you use it in your act? Like, do you have any death jokes?
Not really. Not as much death jokes, no.
You should try it just to see.
I should.
Like just kind of just to see if it works, and then you can,
Yeah.
give yourself like a good 15-minute on just death, just like deep, dark, but funny, like
Exactly.
because if people laugh, like okay, I'm laughing, they're laughing, then this is funny.
That's
You start
something to think about.
You start playing funerals. You know
Yeah,
what
I did.
It's like,
Well, don't worry. If you don't laugh, couldn't get any worse than this guy. Boom, boom. Like,
and then it just,
come on. Where's the widow? Oh, hi. How you doing?
so
Sorry.
dead in here, my
Oh,
God.
God.
It's
what happened?
sucked all the life right out of this room.
I don't think I could do that sober. I couldn't do it sober.
So with this Vine and like internet explosion,
Sure.
you have all these like online comedians, people on Twitter, they'll steal jokes and they'll steal tweets, whatever,
Sure.
How do you feel about these folks versus like traditional stand-up comedians who, don't have that delete button, don't have that edit button on stage?
You mean that they're building careers entirely on digital platforms and not necessarily live
Yeah.
as much? You know what? The business is going to keep changing, and it's going to keep getting more digital, more, your finger can touch a button, and within 5 seconds, you can get anything you want. So the traditional guys, they're amazing. They're doing it definitely old school. It's like the difference between Little House on the Prairie and, I don't know, Full House. Even those are like such old references. But people get it. The new age guys today, not new age, but I don't even know what I'm saying right now. If that's what they do, then that's what they do. I mean, it's not, you're not cutting your teeth the same way. You're not, it's kind of like saying, to someone who goes and becomes a participant on American Idol and then wins and then gets money, fame, sells albums. Well, they know what it's like to build their bones back in the 60s or 70s when you had to tour and when you had to really build your band from the ground up. They'll never quite understand that struggle, and they'll never have to. There's no chrysalis, there's no cocoon. You kind of you leap out automatically. So honestly, I think it's fine, but I think it, truthfully, it probably makes you weaker. It probably doesn't make you as strong. You're probably always relying on certain things instead of yourself. So I think old school is probably the better way to go, but at the same time, you got to keep up with what's happening today.
There you go.
That was my way of not really answering your question.
Yeah, it was very roundabout.
I went roundabout. I did both. I'd make a great politician one day. I am not quite answering the hot topics, but darn it, do I have a great smile.
So you will be at Garrett Morris Comedy Club tomorrow night.
I will be there.
Downtown.
Yes, 8 p.m. Yes, I'm so excited. One of my sweet dear friends, Beth Bears, the lovely blonde.
Two broke girls?
Yeah, two broke girls. She's an old college buddy of mine. And obviously she knows Garrett. And she was there that first night when I went up at the Comedy Store. And it's so sweet and has always been really supportive with stand-up. And she said, hey, I got you a spot if you want to go up at Garrett's. And I was like, yeah. And I think it's going to be his birthday tomorrow night, too. So it's going to be a celebration.
Yeah.
Come celebrate Garrett turning... He's got to be up there. I don't know what
he's had a great,
come on.
A great career.
I mean, first season of Saturday Night Live, you can't,
but they did him dirty on Saturday Night Live. So
he's a cornerstone. So
he definitely is.
It's an honor. I hope I don't suck, and I hope I make some people laugh, and just great to be part of the team.
And then do you have any more dates coming up?
I'll be up at Flappers in the Yoo-Hoo Room February 22nd.
Okay.
I believe it's 7:30, David Hill's show, which is fun. It's the first time I'm working with David Hill doing his show there. And then coming up again, Comedy Store March 14th. I think it's a Friday.
Perfect. And then where can people find you online?
You know what? Just look up my handle, Twitter, Adam Carr 85, my name and the year I was born, also Back to the Future. And look me up. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Adam, for coming in. It was great.
It's been an honor. It was my first time. You were sweet. You were delicate. You tickled my ear a little bit, and you let me be the big spoon. And I love that.
Now he'll drop you off at Starbucks.
And now he'll drop you off at Starbucks. Well done. Well played. That was good.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Of course, you can find me all over the internet at the Nick Perdue. Until next time, see you soon.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, Dario Kristen, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for tuning in to the Black Hollywood Live Network. If you have questions or comments, tweet us at BHL Online or email us at info@blackhollywoodlive.com. For more exclusive content, visit blackhollywoodlive.com. This has been a presentation of the Black Hollywood Live Network.
Hollywood Redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.
Thanks for watching Black Hollywood Live on YouTube. For more in-depth interviews and news, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion in the comment section below here. See you soon, everyone. Bye.